former Russian President Dmitry Medvedev claimed the world is hurtling towards an all-out conflict after NATO pledged further support to Ukraine at the NATO summit this week. I spoke to Ben Friedman, Policy Director and Analyst at Defence Priorities, about the implications of the NATO summit.
The United States and its NATO allies have shown during this war that we will do a great deal for Ukraine short of fighting for them directly. And I think it is hard to see that changing just because we made a paper pledge to fight for them, which is what the NATO alliance membership is, or some other kind of bilateral security guarantee, some other kind of security guarantee. It's still going to be the case that Russia has nukes, and we're going to want to avoid war with them. So I think in some ways the refusal to put them in NATO just recognizes that. But I think in a more direct way, they're currently at war with Russia. So if you put them in NATO now, I think one thing you would do is create an immediate nuclear crisis. I mean, are we going to go to war and then, be on the sort of in a Cuban Missile Crisis type situation with Russia? Or alternatively, we would not fight for them, and that would underline, I think, the shakiness of other Article 5 pledges and say, oh, they're not really serious about defending their allies. So I think that, that would be a really bad idea. And if you put them in NATO, if you say for sure we're going to put them in NATO as soon as the war ends, rather than we might, I think you're giving Russia an incentive to keep the war going. Because I think that one of the main reasons the war happened, that Russia attacked Ukraine in last year, is because they thought, well, NATO is going to come in there, if not officially, then unofficially with troops. We were doing exercises, we were signing agreements, and they wanted to sort of take it out of the Western orbit before it got taken in, essentially, say this is ours. So it was still imperialism, I think, but it had to do with NATO expansion or the prospect of it. And so if we say they're for sure going to join NATO when the war ends, why would the war end? Russia's not going to end the war. They'll probably keep it going at some low level because they really don't want it to join NATO.